Welcome to Visual Basic. This will be 5.1. This will be quicker than 4.6 because, our last chapter, because we're going to just use 4.6 and we're going to add menu items at the top. Much like these items at the top of, these items up at the top that I'm pointing at right here, we have menus at the top that provide us some opportunity. I hit File, it takes me here. I hit Insert, it just gives me different menu options. And we're going to have that. We're going to have a File menu item, an Edit menu item, and a Help menu item. But here's a biggie. A number of your programs are continuations of or add-ons to previous programs. And we probably talked about this earlier in the year, but I'm going to go to my 4.6 program that I had, that I created, did a video of, and it's in here. And the temptation is, and some of that's extra stuff that I did, like this video, here's the video, here's a sheet that I used for my video, but this and this and this all have to be copied, and the safest, easiest way to do this is just to copy that whole folder. And now here's my 5.1 for video. I need to get rid of this thing, delete this one, yes. And now I'm going to paste in, this is my 4.6, the whole folder's coming in there. And then you really don't want to change names of things. We'll change some things, but there's ways of doing it, so I could rename this folder or the file that's in it 5.1. But to be honest, not that important, and it can really cause problems if you're trying to do that. I'm just getting rid of some extraneous stuff here. And pretty soon I'm going to have my Chapter 5 video in here. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on just editing this 4.6 program. Hopefully all of this goes well. And we're opening it up, and this should look familiar to you. There's our form, and let's take a look at our code. One thing I'm going to point out that I added to this that was not on the 4.6 video, I think I added it. In this button Clear All, you can imagine we're entering data for all our employees. We got 150 employees, and we're clearing it out in between employees. And after my 130th employee that day, my payroll, I go ahead and hit Clear All, and yikes, I just cleared all of the summary items, all of my totals that have been being calculated with every new employee. Every time I hit Calculate, this summary data is getting added to, and Clear All, I just wiped it out. So if you have something like a Clear All, it's probably a pretty good idea to give them a warning about that. So I did add this dimension response dialog result. That's just a variable as what's referred to as a dialog result. And then I set out a message box that was specifically a yes/no message box. And you had that in your Chapter 4 tutorial program, hands-on program. Response dialog will capture whether or not they click yes or no on that. For instance, if I run this, I think I'm going to have to enter some data to get the summary box to even show, so I'm just going to put in calculate that, name field missing, need a name, calculate. Now I can hit summary. So when I click summary, I've got this. When I click clear, it would clear, but if I click clear all now, it says, are you sure you want to delete all data? If I click no, it takes me to clear all aborted. If I click yes, it clears all the data. So you'll see what's happening in here. If the response dialog equals dialog yes, then they have confirmed, yes, I want to captured yes here. They've confirmed, yes, I do in fact want to clear all of this stuff out. But that's all that I had in the 4.6. Then I had the else. If that doesn't happen, if it's not yes, let's go ahead and say the clear all was aborted. Okay, so anyway, ready to move on to our Chapter 5. And our Chapter 5 is about menu strips. So I'm going to take a menu strip and I'm going to put it on here. And on that menu strip, as you will recall, we needed a file, an edit, and a help. Calculate, pay under the file, summary, exit, and clear. They've got a little line here which isn't maybe necessary, but clear, font and color kind of go together, so they're just delineating that. So let's add those things into our program. So here we go. Right here, I'm going to go File, and inside of File, I'm going to, and I got a little cheat sheet over here. I'm going to calculate pay. I'm going to go ampersand, calculate pay. So C would be a shortcut. I'm going to add another item here, and I'm going to go ampersand, summary, and then I'm going to go put an exit here, and capital E, ampersand XIT, so X will exit the program for me, which is another little dangerous thing because maybe we don't really want to exit, maybe we accidentally hit this, so worth a discussion, but I'm not going to mess with it now. Then the second one is going to be, and this will be new stuff this chapter in addition to the menu bar, the second one is going to be edit, and in edit we're going to allow the user to edit, we're going to clear, that would be an edit. And then here's where they had that little delineation line. And if I step out of there and hit this down right here, I can put a separator in there. It really doesn't have any function, it's just a visual. And then we're going to have the ability to change font, and we're going to have the ability to change the color of our, it's the way the program's written, we're going to change the color of our text. Okay. So all of those things are there. Whoops, we need one more. We have a help, which I guess I'll go ampersand. And I can put ampersands all over the place. Help. Actually, I'm just going to go help here. And then in there, we're just going to have an about box. We're just going to call up with that code, we're just going to call up a message box and just say, hey, this was programmed in 2019, something like that. Okay. Things to add. In order to do clear and font and color, clear is fine, but in order to do font and color, we need what are referred to as dialog boxes. And here's a color dialog. It just pops down here with menu strip or where we would have like a tooltip. And here is a font dialog, and these are really slick. They do a lot of heavy lifting for us. Okay, so I think this is going to make sense. When I double-click calculate, or when I click calculate pay, I want it to do the job that was being done in this button, this calculate button. So I'm going to take calculate pay, double-click it. I'm going to find my calculate button. See if I remember where that is. I'm going to take all of the code that's in my calculate button, not the end sub, but all of the code that's in there. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that into here. And I could have Control-X'd it, but it made me nervous. So don't want to lose all of that. So I'll leave that button alive for right now, but it's not doing anything. When I run this program and I click the calculate button, it doesn't even give me an error anymore. And if I go put in the words and a number, don't want that, and calculate, it doesn't do anything, but now File, calculate, does this. Okay? So it's just taken the place of the calculate button, which means at this stage, I do not need my calculate button anymore. I'm just going to drag it off to the side here just in case, but I'm pretty confident with that one. Now, as you may recall, when we go summary, or when we start the program, the summary is disabled. And I need to enable that. I need to have the same, for the same reasons as last chapter. I want to go ahead and, let's see, we got a little bit of a lag here. Hopefully this doesn't drag on. Program not running. I think we're back. Okay, I'm going to take this summary button, and in its properties over here, I'm going to check it's enabled to false. And did I name these guys? Yep. Here's a summary tool strip menu. And next, oh, it just named those for me, which is awesome. Summary tool strip menu. I'm just going to use that. So when I calculate, you're going to see this. When I go to my calculate, calculate is going to turn that summary button enabled true. Well, that summary button is going to be gone. So I'm going to go summary tooltip menu dot enabled equals true. I hope that makes sense to you, what's going on there. And I'm just going to comment this one out. So when I hit the calculate toolstrip menu item, the summary toolstrip item becomes enabled true. All right, well, let's take a look and see if that's working for us. So I start this thing, I give a name, I give a number, I calculate, and now I go back up here and you notice summary is now enabled up here. So this one's not, but no problem there. All right, so my summary button, if I double click it, I want my summary button in here to be doing what my summary button did. My summary tool strip menu item, I should say, doing what my summary button did. So I'm going to take that out. And let's run this. Weird name and a number and file. Now notice right now, see, summary is disabled. I can't click summary. I'm trying to click it. You can't tell that, but I'm trying to click it. But I can hit calculate pay, and now when I go back up, summary is enabled, just like what we were doing with the button, all is well. Okay. On my form, I've got an exit button. Let's handle that. That's an easy one. End. So I start. I just like to check everything each time I do something. It's just a habit I'm in. Exit works. So let's move on to the next item. Edit clear. Well, I've got a clear button, so I'm going to let my clear tool strip do just what my clear button did, and careful not to use clear all. Here's my clear button, and you may recall in chapter 4 I commented some of these out. I'm just going to end up deleting these. Let's see. Clear tool strip menu. I don't really want those cleared. I just want the name cleared, the text pieces cleared, and focus on the name so they can enter the next value. Let's see how that works. Let's go start. Let's put some info in here. Let's put some info in here. Let's file calculate. Summary should have been now enabled up here. It is summary. File. I don't want to exit yet. Let's try clear. Clear clears it, sets the focus there, but I still have all my summary. Everything's intact. Now, we can have a clear all button as well, but they I guess felt like leaving in the directions. They didn't say anything about the clear all, so we'll just leave that as a button on here. But I am comfortable right now that I should be good. Deleting this one, and deleting this one, and we can reorganize a little bit. Might put a little blank there just because they aren't going to all type out at the same time, but it definitely lets me neaten up my form a little bit. Okay, now in edit, this is new, font. For font, I'm going to go to my little cheat sheet here, and I'm going to go width. Font dialog. And it's actually named Font Dialog 1 on the previous page. So with Font Dialog, and explain what width does here in a minute, I'm going to show the dialog. Show dialog. Just show dialog. So what the width statements does, and you've seen them before, but I want to talk about them now. Let's say when I had some function where I wanted to take this txt pieces and I wanted to clear it, and I wanted to change the dot font of it, and I wanted to change the dot size of it. I wanted to do a whole bunch of things. Rather than saying txt pieces dot, txt pieces dot, txt pieces dot, I could just do with txt pieces. We're going to do a lot with this font dialog now. And every dot after that, it's like this means font dialog 1. excuse me, .show dialog. All right, I'll continue and help explain that again. So font dialog, I'm going to change the font of every single text box I have out there. So I'm going to go TXT this guy. I'm not going to worry about my errors now. TXT average pay, TXT name, TXT pieces, TXT total pay, TXT total, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got all 6 here. And what I want to change those to, I want to change their .font to equal .font. Now that's weird, but don't forget this .font right here is referring to the font dialog. So we're going to show this font dialog. They're going to select some font, or you're going to select some font, and it's going to change this guy to that font. So I just want every one of these really powerful. Every one of those to have that. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and start this. And I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give it a number. That's a big number. I'm going to file, calculate. Guy had a good week. I'm going to go ahead and summarize. And now I'm going to go to edit my font. And there comes the font dialog. So I can go bold and click OK. Now, if you notice there, I didn't catch that. It had like a default font size of 8. So I could change this back to 14. I could go edit font. I could turn the bold off regular. I could put it in italics. I could change to this thing for whatever reason. You got lots of options for the user to have some control there. Okay? All right. Are you sure you want to clear all? Yes, but I really just wanted to exit. File, exit, which I could have just hit X. All right. So now let's go ahead and take care of color. There's a color dialog, so you might expect some of that same stuff here. So with color dialog, I'm gonna just steal from myself, and I'm going to go color dialog 1, and then, as you might guess, this dot font is going to become dot color. And dot font over here isn't exactly just color. It's going to be color of what, and we're going to go with for color, which is the color of the font, as it turns out. So I'm going to Control C, and you're going to see we have a little bit of an issue with this when we run it. Control V, Control V. Just try to be somewhat efficient. I think I wasn't efficient there, font color. I should have got rid of that font, taken it all the way to the dot. Okay, so there we go. That's the code for our color dialog. Let's take a look at that. We're going to run this, get some data in there, and file calculate, file summary, edit color. Oh, cool. So this is basic colors. Now, again, we could change the back color of these text boxes, but this we just went with the for color, which is the GFS, our black for color. So I'm going to go to red just to see. And here's what you will note, and I've tried to look this up. These text boxes right here and below, those are read-only, and that is keeping us from changing these to red. However, Microsoft has been informed of this, and it is apparently a bug. But the non-read-only ones are turned to red. There's a way to make these others turn to red, but the point's being made that we can actually control our color that way. So, clear all does nothing. Ooh, it still does something for us. Oh yeah, it does, of course. Are you sure you want to clear all? No, I don't want to do that. Clear all aborted. Okay, so we spoke about that a little bit earlier. That should have been on the Chapter 4 program. So what do we have left? Help, about. I'm just going to do this, message box, which is a little different than your .show. This is just old school. And I'm going to say, this program was created in 2019. I don't know why the user would be interested in that, but button summary is dead now. I'm just going to clean house a little bit here. We don't have that button anymore. We have some others up here that might be dead as well. Button calculate, done. Do I have a button clear that I can get rid of? Here's the clear tool strip menu. Don't need to get rid of that one, but I want to get rid of my button clear. Button clear can be gone. I don't want to get rid of button clear all. Hopefully you're keeping track of all this. So those guys are gone, and let's start this up. Some data, some pieces, some file calculate, some, let's go file or edit clear. Let's put in another name and some other pieces and file calculate. And let's do a file summary. And let's check our about box. There it is. For whatever reason, we've got that out there. And just all sorts of freedom on things that we can do. Now, on a pretty finite program, to be honest, if I was using it, I'd just rather have the calculate button here. But let's say we had 15 of these little, real complicated program. We had 15 of these items and each one had 3. That would be like equivalent to having 45 buttons on the screen. So, you know, much like what we have when we're working in Word or Excel, or for that matter, in Visual Basic. So there's our 5.1. Maybe the one thing we might want to do is just take our form here and tell our forms text this should be 5.1. And then in our code, likewise, probably we should say this is 5.1. And as you know, I didn't really make this on July 19th, but there we have it. I'm going to file save all, so if you want to refer to that. But good luck. Let us know if there's anything there you didn't understand, and hopefully this goes very well.